What's up, guys? The UFC 315 card just wrapped up and it performed a lot better than expected. The main event was insane. Co-main event went almost exactly as we thought it was gonna go. Aldo I thought should have won against Aiemann Zahabi. Natalia Silva had an amazing performance against Grasso, and Benoit Saint-Denis just bullied Prepolec. Some good finishes, especially on the prelims, but I would say the card performed at like a 6 out of 10 for a pay-per-view. I thought it was pretty solid. And we'll start with that main event. Della Maddalena defeats Belal Muhammad by a unanimous decision, 48-47, 48-47, and 49-46. First question, what was Belal's game plan? Like, I get it, he was talking about how he wanted to stand up with Jack and fight him like that, but I didn't think he would actually strike for as long as he did. I mean, it took him until like 4 minutes of the first round to shoot his first takedown or whatever. He shot another in the second, and then in the fourth round, he was shooting a lot more. Fourth and fifth round Belal was what I thought he would fight like. From the first round to the fifth, not just in the last rounds. I don't know if all the criticisms got to his head and made him fight that way, that he didn't want to be boring. I mean, even the way he walked out there, you could just see, like, I don't know if it's confidence or overconfidence, but he seemed different. I never seen Belal dance to the octagon, and he was legitimately trying to outbox Della Maddalena. Insane. He did perform a lot better than I thought he would in the striking with Jack, but he wasn't going to win the fight that way. And Jack's striking is absolutely insane, man. What a high-level striker. His offense and defense in totality was off the charts. The combinations were crazy. His ability to roll with shots and slip and counter and everything, like the footwork was on point. That was probably the biggest adjustment he made. The takedown defense, of course, and also the footwork. The footwork was a big thing for him. I never see him move around the octagon as much as he did for this fight. I never see him defend takedowns like that, and against by far the best wrestler he's ever went up against too. He showed the best takedown defense in his entire career. Maybe there is something to the asterisks of the Gilbert Burns broken arm thing and cutting weight twice against Bessel Hafiz, because those are the two performances that showed maybe wrestling can actually beat him. But it just turns out that that wasn't the best Jack. This was the best Jack. No broken arm, no double weight cuts, and Jack looked focused from the press conference to the weigh-ins into the fight. He was super focused on beating Belal Muhammad. And the welterweight division would have an amazing champion if he stays. But he is going to be fighting Islam Makhachev. So Islam's going to be moving up. I don't know if he's going to vacate the belt. I don't know what they're going to do with the Ilya and Charles fight, because they can't put that above Pantoja as a non-title fight, right? So they have to slap some kind of belt on there. But Ilya already said that he will now fight for an interim belt. Does the UFC convince Islam to vacate his lightweight title? We'll see. But I do think the Jack Della fight is more interesting than the Ilya fight, because Jack's big. He's a great striker too. Him and Ilya are amazing strikers. He has a strength to fight off Islam at least. He has very good takedown defense. I like this fight more, honestly. And it does let us see how Ilya performs against the best fighters at lightweight, starting with Charles Oliveira. Like, what if Ilya loses to Charles? Then this would have been the best outcome for these fights. But we'll see. I think Jack has a real chance at beating Islam, but I don't know if I would pick him to win. I think he has a realistic path to victory in that one, for sure. So that's his next fight. As for Belal Muhammad, let's do Belal Muhammad versus Ian Gary. And in the meantime, they should do Sean Brady versus Shavkat for the #1 contender. I did see Shavkat just got surgery and he looks very skinny. Guy looks like he might be a lightweight. But if he is able to recover and return before Jack fights Islam, they should have that fight on the same card, because Brady versus Shavkat is absolutely the #1 contender fight. Unless Buckley wants to fight right away. He knocks out Kamaru Usman, wants to fight a few months later, then do Brady versus Buckley for the #1 contender. Because I don't know how long Shavkat's going to need to recover. And with him being out for so long, these guys are stacking up wins. He can't be promised a title shot forever, right? Brady just beat Leon, dominated him. Buckley beat Colby Covington, and let's say he beats Usman. And let's say Ian Gary beats Belal before Shavkat fights. Like, does Shavkat still get the title shot over all of them? I mean, over Ian Gary probably, but not over Brady or Buckley, I would say. There's a lot of good matchups in the welterweight division, and I think it should be Brady versus Shavkat, or if Shavkat can't fight him yet, Brady versus the winner of Usman and Buckley. And then Valentina Shevchenko defends her title again by beating Manon Fiorot. Is it Fiorot or Fiorot? But Shevchenko beat her as an underdog too, which is weird, because why would they have one of the GOATs, who's still champion, as an underdog? And it hasn't looked like she slowed down. Menon's main advantage was what everyone thought it was: strength and size. Those attributes helped her hold Shevchenko on the fence for so long, almost as long as her torso. You see how big her upper body is? She was smothering Shevchenko against the fence. Like, she has a natural physical advantage with her body type. It's kind of hard to shake her off, as like 50% of her body is her upper body. She also has kind of short legs, and it helps Shevchenko evade some of the high kicks. And she even countered one with a spinning kick, which was insane. Highly technical stuff, but most of the fight was lackluster, to be honest. Manon almost landed a ground and knee, full power, but Shevchenko blocked it like a goat. She also got a knockdown off of the check right hook. At this point, she has to have like one of the most title wins in UFC history. Oh, and her next fight is absolutely against Natalia Silva. And that's a tough fight for both of them, but I think Natalia might win that. As for Manon Fiorot, maybe a fight with Macy Barber. They've never fought each other. And then Aiemann Zahabi defeats Jose Aldo by decision. And Jose Aldo retires after, or at least it seemed like he did. He took his gloves off and everything and had the post-fight interview after. But Aldo came out strong in the first round. He definitely won that round. Bro came out with the Muay Thai stance and everything, but didn't throw that many kicks. Pretty much boxing. Zahabi didn't do that much in the first round. The second round was closer. Zahabi was landing more shots there. It looked like Aldo may have won that as well, but I have to go back and rewatch the second round. That seems to be the most controversial. I think the third round is also kind of controversial. That could have went to Aldo as well. And from the damage of the third round, you can argue that Aldo came closer to finishing the fight, giving him the third round. I can see how they gave Zahabi the third round. I had it 29-28 for Aldo, but there is an argument for Aldo getting all three, because maybe he got closer to finishing the fight than Zahabi did. And that is basically how rounds are scored. Let's go to the decision first. So I think Aldo won the fight. Does it help or hurt that he wasn't able to make 135 pounds? You know, it wasn't great to see that, but I don't think he's ever actually missed weight in his entire career, right? You know, the guy's on his last fight. He's a legend. We'll let one off, you know what I'm saying? One freebie, I guess, and Zahabi was cool with it, but it did give Jose Aldo maybe an advantage, but the weight cut definitely hurt him in the fight. I mean, he had no cardio after 2.5 rounds. So let's go into that third round. That third round was so crazy, bro. Jose Aldo punted Zahabi in the face and nearly KO'd him. It looked like a street fight. So Aldo hurts him. He lands the straight right, then lands the knee up the center. Very quick shots, by the way. I mean, it looked like it was vintage prime Jose Aldo for a moment. Like he transformed for about 30 seconds back to his prime form. And the drawback was that he would have nothing left in the gas tank. All of his energy would be used just to do that. So he hurts Zahabi and then literally soccer kicks him in the face. Zahabi was up though. He wasn't a grounded fighter. He had both hands on the mat, which is fine for Aldo to kick, right? But the way Aldo didn't hesitate to throw it was crazy. He did it twice too. I am surprised Zahabi didn't go out. I mean, we're talking about Aldo here, punting him in the face. Zahabi was able to fight his way back. So he gets up and then gets punted in the face again. And instantaneously, immediately after that crazy flurry, Aldo had no energy left. It looked like a video game. It looked like when you exhaust your stamina bar completely. That's what it looked like with Aldo. He looked at the clock after he shot a takedown and just pulled guard and sat on the bottom, didn't do anything for the rest of the fight. And Zahabi was just landing elbows, cut him up. It looked like he swelled up his cheek and stuff. I have never seen a fighter exhaust themselves that quickly. But Aldo gave it his all, and it was an amazing fight. One of my favorite fighters ever. It's sad he retired, but he retired before, you know. I wish him the best. What an amazing career by the legend. It's another fight that I thought he should have won, so that's 2 arguable robberies in a row to end his career. But the thing is, if he won, like if he actually won that decision, I don't know if he would have retired. I think he would have kept going. Because he said after the fight that his heart is not in it anymore. He doesn't have that drive to be a fighter like he used to. I wish the best for Jose Aldo, and if he is actually retiring, which I think he should, I think he gave it his all in that fight. Not only in the fight, but also the weight cut. I wish him happy retirement. As for Aiemann Zahabi, I think he surprised himself with how he survived that third round. I mean, he was just happy to fight Jose Aldo. This guy was just happy to be in front of a legend and share the octagon with him, and it turned into a street fight. But with a win over the number 11 ranked fighter, I think Zahabi versus Henry Cejudo. I mean, he called out Marlon Vera, right? So they could do the Marlon Vera fight, but I think Cejudo would be a better fight. And moving to Natalia Silva, putting on a striking clinic against Alexa Grasso. Dominated the fight with high-level footwork and good counter-striking. An amazing performance that should get her a title shot, I think. It played out like it was a mismatch, but it wasn't according to the rankings. Grasso was the champion not long ago, and that shows that Natalia is just that good. Constant lateral movement, constant check hooks, precise kicks of all variety, head kicks, body kicks, leg kicks, side kicks, round kicks, spinning kicks. And I don't know how Grasso ate that right head kick in the third round. That would have dropped most, and all it did was cut Grasso around the eye. And Grasso couldn't plan her shots consistently when she tried to cut off the cage. As soon as she planted to throw, Natalia would either sway and counter or already be in an angle. Her footwork was just way beyond Grasso's capabilities, which is crazy to say for a champion who beat Valentina Shevchenko. but Shevchenko doesn't really move like that either. There's not a lot of fighters who have that kind of footwork. So Grasso went to some takedowns, but it looked like Natalia is honestly stronger than her too. And I think her fight with Shevchenko should be very interesting. I wonder though if she has the cardio to fight like that for 5 rounds instead of 3. She doesn't look tired after 3 rounds, so I think she might win that title actually. If she's moving around like that for 5 rounds, Shevchenko is very plodding. She doesn't move that much. And when she does, it's mostly like static. It's not fluid movements. It's just can Shevchenko take her to the ground and win through her grappling. And as for Alexa Grasso, I think a fight with Rose Namajunas would be decent. It's one of the few fighters she didn't fight yet. And then Benoit Saint-Denis submits Kyle Prepolec in the second round with an arm triangle choke. He dominated the first round, was on top for over 4 minutes, back control, and tried to get the rear naked choke, but Prepolec did an amazing job of defending all of them. Many times I thought BSD was going to choke him out, and then Prepolec just somehow is able to defend against the grip and survive that position. I mean, to defend BSD on your back for that long after a week's notice to fight is so impressive. BSD was too strong in pressuring though. He was devastating Prepolec with those elbows and knees. It seemed like Prepolec was done after some of those, but he landed some good punches himself. It was a good win for BSD and a tough effort from Prepolec. A good next fight for BSD would be maybe Mateusz Gamrot, who wanted to fight him actually. Or they could reschedule the Yoel Alvarez matchup. And then what about the knockout from the Canadian star, Mike Malott? He KOs Charles Radke with his hands. I thought it was going to be a lot more grappling from Mike Malott, man. But no, he just outstruck Radke. In Radke's world of experience, Malott threw the 1-2 and faded out with the left hook, angling off for more leverage, and Radke threw his at the same time. But Malott kept his hand up. He had better defense. Radke's hook bounced off the guard onto Malott's face, but Malott's was full power with no reduction of power from hitting the guard. Malott may have also hurt him with the left hook before that exchange. The punch or elbow from the thrown hook may have partially landed on Radke, stumbled him forward after. Maybe it partially landed, but that fade out left hook was beautiful. He also landed an orthodox, but he's a lefty, so he made his lead hand his power hand in that moment, was very confident in his ability to land that shot. And throughout the fight as well, Malott didn't really need to wrestle to win. He outstruck him, he advanced forward with feint steps and shifts to the opposite stance so he could line up his punches, landed some close range combos, and constantly was moving around the octagon. Radke was pressuring though, but Malott did a great job of pushing him away with side kicks to the body and leg. Just a masterful performance by Mike Malott. And then we go to the other Canadian star with the submission win. Jasmine Jasdavicius just ran through Andrade like it was nothing. Shot the double leg, rose up to a strong body lock, lifted and slammed Andrade. She practically Andrade, landed a few ground and pound to open the transition, eventually got the back and got the rear naked choke to win. What a performance by Jasmine, and she needs a top contender next. Maybe even a #1 contender fight. I think Jasmine versus Erin Blanchfield would be a great fight. And as for Andrade, maybe a fight with Tracy Cortez. Then Modestas Bukauskas defeats Iwan Cutelaba by decision. Very close fight. It seems like most people believe Cutelaba should have won. Bukauskas just didn't throw enough to make the win definitive. The third round was good for him, but Cutelaba basically outworked him for the first 2 rounds, although the first was close. Cutelaba landed much more, but Bukauskas had some good quality of shots with a few straight rights, and Cutelaba's spinning kicks were so wild. He almost knocked himself out with one of them, nearly landed face first. And also shout out to Dan Miragliotta for separating the clinch twice. He gave them around like a minute to work, and they were only reversing the position on the fence without transitioning or landing big shots. They basically had the over-under against each other and just constantly rotated. But overall, yeah, it was a good fight. And then what about Navajo Sterling defeating Ivan Urslan by decision? It was a fine fight. Urslan was landing a lot of right hands. Sterling was trying to keep the fight at range, throwing out those kicks and everything, but I was surprised with how many right hands Urslan was landing actually. But then if I remember correctly, it was Urslan who shot a takedown. Sterling was able to reverse him and then found success through the wrestling later because of that exchange. So Urslan actually gave Sterling a path to victory there, or at least a path to help him to victory. Sterling also dropped Urslan in the third round. It looked like he hit him behind the head, but Urslan might have turned his head with it. The fight looked like it was close to getting stopped though. Good win by Navajo Sterling though. Then Marc-Andre Barriault knocks out Bruno Silva. That's going to be Silva's 5th loss in a row, and this one was bad. Silva's actually never been knocked out in his entire career. First knockout loss ever. And the way he fell was not great, man. I mean, Silva also missed weight, so he was probably drained for that fight, but Barriault had him against the fence and just unleashed with elbows to the temple and all that, and Silva fell to the canvas limp. 5 losses in a row. He's 1-7 in his last 8 fights, and with a knockout loss like that, man, it's crazy, dude, because Bruno Silva at one point was good. 1 loss to Alex Pereira. He's never been the same. He performed so well against Alex too. Wild, man. But it's a good win for Marc-Andre Barriault. Then Daniel Santos defeats Li Jiang. Pretty much wrestled his way to a win. Santos moved up to the featherweight division for that fight. Pretty much just grappled his way to a win. Li was doing decent in the striking though. But yeah, decent fight altogether. And then Bekzat Almakhan knocks out Brad Katona with like a Derek Lewis, Curtis Blade style knockout, uppercut against the takedown. This guy might be the hardest puncher in that division. Bekzat's highlight reel is going to be so insane after some of these UFC fights. I mean, it's already kind of insane with all the knockouts he has. This guy literally one-shots people. And Katona's no slouch. Katona's a good fighter. He tried to mix in the takedown, and Bekzat just timed it perfectly. Hopefully, he got the performance bonus. So I'm guessing Belal and Jack got the fight of the night. And as for the performances, I think Bekzat should get one, and Jasmine probably. But also Mike Malott. Mike Malott, Jasmine, Bekzat. If they could give 3 performance bonuses, they should give it to those 3. And then the fight of the night is the main event, of course. And that's the card. So I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. It was a fun card, and I'll see you guys in the next video.